Hello to all of my peeps. It's so good to see you here today from my chair, episode 96. Thank you for hanging with me. I'm going to be introducing some new plants to you, some my new friends, and I need you to help me name them, if you would. And this is one of them right here. I have no clue what to name it, so if you want to give me some thoughts and ideas, give them to me. Text them to me. Give them to me on Facebook Messenger. Email them to me. Just some ideas of what I can name these. I've got 3 or 4 more that need to be named, and but I'd rather you name them. So if you want to do that, I would appreciate it. Thanks for hanging with me again this week. The Holy Spirit has pushed the pause button on discussing personality buttons and personality boxes. When He tells me to push play on that topic, I'll push play. And we'll begin discussing those again. I've got lots of thoughts and some lessons planned. He just won't let me go from this topic of scripting right now. And so we're just going to go with what the Lord wants us to discuss. And then we'll get back to the personality boxes a little bit later. Before we jump in, can I say this? Just because you don't need these particular thoughts right now in your current space, that does not mean that you won't ever need them later on. I don't know why she's talking about this stuff. Well, it could be that later on you might need some of these thoughts and some of these things. Let's never get into the habit of dismissing or minimizing teaching or preaching, your pastor's preaching, or the things that your parents are trying to tell you and teach you and help you with. I don't need all that stuff. Okay, I know, maybe not now, but you will later. You might later. So, my philosophy is, hand it to me, and I'll put it in my backpack for when it's time to need it and use those things. Now for today. You had some homework to do. You thought I was going to forget about your homework. I did not forget about your homework. First, I wanted you to identify any areas where you may be scripting. I can't identify those areas for you, but I wanted you to study it this week and think about it. Where am I scripting? All the what ifs. Where am I scripting? And secondly, in your homework for your mint, you thought I forgot your mint, didn't you? When those circumstances, those what ifs, when they flood your mind, when they flood your ears, I wanted you to try a different approach. I don't know, what if this happens? Well, what's your response? I told you this week, whether somebody tells you, asks you, well, what are you going to do when this happens? Or whether it floods your heart and mind, the response I wanted us to practice was, I don't know. I'm not there yet. It's not time to cross that bridge. I don't know, did you do that? I did that this week several different times as people would ask me questions, simple questions and difficult questions. And I gave them the same answer. I don't know. I'm not there yet. It's not time to cross that bridge. All right, so if you did it, here you go. There is your peppermint. It's been a while since I've given you a peppermint for doing your homework. It's been a while since I've given you homework. So thank you for doing your homework. Now for today, let's answer some questions. Let's answer a question, and I'm going to have to answer the next one next week. What happens when I script? I'm rounding turn 2. I brought my illustration. I brought Caleb's NASCAR today, and if you haven't listened to last week, you need to go back and listen to it, or this is going to make no sense to you. But I brought it back with me today. What happens? I'm rounding turn 2. And I see the possibility of hard things to come up around turn 4. I don't know how it's all going to play out. Will I be able to handle that? Will I be strong enough? What if? What if? I gave you a ton of what ifs last week. So what happens is I mentally and I emotionally live out all of those possible moments before it's time to. I think about all those things before it's time to think about those, making sure that I am prepared for anything and for everything that's to come. And to make sure that it ends the way that I think it should end. I want it to end the way I think it should end, so I begin to script. But let's just be honest, I'll say this. Nobody likes to be blindsided. Nobody likes to be blindsided, especially with tough things. Nobody enjoys being shoved off the mountain and into a valley. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants that. I'm just saying. Nobody likes to be blindsided with things that are tough and things that are hard. Nobody likes to be shoved off the mountain and into a dark, cold valley. So Ms. Edge, why do I script? Why do I script? Why do I feel the need to handle it all myself and to live out all those hard things before it's time to live them and live in them? One word, fear. Fear. I'm afraid to face the unknown. I'm afraid to face the unknown. I'm afraid of what I can't see. We're okay with what we can see, and we know what to do, we know how to handle things, but I'm afraid of what I can't see. I'm afraid of walking alone. I'm afraid that I'm in turn 2. I'm afraid I'm going to have to face turn 4 all by myself. I'm afraid that God won't do for me what He's done for other people. I'm afraid that watch the word, I'm afraid that there won't be enough. I'm afraid that there won't be enough. So I script so that I can make sure that there is enough for me. Enough of what? Well, I'm glad you asked. Listen to these. Enough strength. I am not sure as I turn around turn 2 and get to turn 4, I'm not sure I'm going to have enough strength. I don't know if I'm going to have enough strength. Peace. I don't know if I'm have enough peace. Grace. What if there's not enough grace? What if there's not enough grace for me then? I know there's enough grace for me now, but what if there's not enough then? Tears. What if I don't have enough tears? What if I don't show all the emotion that I'm supposed to show when I get to the hard thing at turn 4? Words. What if I don't have enough words? What if I don't have the good words, the best words? And what if I don't have enough when I get to the hard thing? Energy. Oh, I'm so there right now. It's like, oh my mercy sakes, I don't have a whole lot of energy right now at 2. How in the world am I going to have enough at turn 4 when this is going to be hard and tough and grief and pain and issues? What if I don't have enough energy? How about proper responses? I'm afraid I won't have enough of the proper responses to people. Love. What if I don't have enough love for people when the tough things happen, if the tough thing happens? Patience. Patience. Boy, I lack patience. I want to have enough patience when I get to what I perceive as something difficult that I'm going to go through. I want to have the patience. Endurance. Compassion. I'm afraid I'm not going to have enough compassion. How about enough of God? What if God is not going to be there for me in turn 4 with me sitting at turn 2? What if He's not going to be for me what I need for Him to be when I go through, if I go through the tough things? We script because there's a real fear that God won't meet us in turn 4 like He has in turn 2. Did you get that? We fear. It's not just afraid of hard things. It's a fear that, you know what, I'm afraid God is not going to meet me. He won't meet me here with the hard things when I get there. But wait, you're not there yet. You're not there yet. Watch this illustration. We fear the fiery furnace, not because of how hot it may be. We fear because we're not sure if the Son of God will be in there when we walk in. Take your Bible and go to Daniel chapter 3. Was reading this and I saw this and read this in just a different way this week. And let's read it together. Daniel chapter 3, look at verse number 17. If our God, and if you know the story, it's about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Nebuchadnezzar sets up an idol, a god, basically, little g, and says, when the music happens, you've got to bow. You've got to bow to this false image. And these three fellows are like, no, we don't need to do this. This is not our God, little g. It's not our God. We're not going to do this. So Daniel chapter 3, verse number 17. If it be so, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are talking to Nebuchadnezzar. Our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. Verse 18. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then, when Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, therefore he spake, and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in the army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the fiery furnace. Then these men, which were bound with their coats and their hosen and their hats and their other garments, and were cast in the middle of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Isn't that interesting? They just opened the door and whoo, the guy standing there, boom, burned them up just like that. Verse number 23. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste and spake, and he said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? And they answered and said unto the king, True, O king. And he answered, verse number 25, he answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. The story hit me in such a different way with this idea of scripting. We look at the fiery furnace and we fear the fiery furnace not because of how hot it may be. He heated it up 7 times hotter. Get that bad boy even hotter. He was so angry that the form of his visage was changed. We don't fear how hot it is. We fear it because we aren't sure if the Son of God will be there when we walk in. From what we read here in these verses, these 3 fellas decided that they were going to face the hard thing that was ahead, not because they saw Jesus already standing in the furnace. No, not at all. The Bible says in verse number 18, but if not. But if not. Our God will deliver us, but if not. But if not. They did not know, they didn't see Jesus standing there in the middle of the fiery furnace. Hey, we can do this. Look, there he is, there he is. All right, come on, bring it. He's in there, going to be in there with us. No, that's not how the story goes. They did not know that Jesus was going to be in there when they were cast into the fiery furnace. They decided, watch, that they would face the heat because that was God's plan. What did he say in verse number 18? But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. They decided, you know what, it doesn't matter if he's in there or not. We know he's going to deliver us, but if not, okay, that's God's plan. They decided we're going to do what we're supposed to do. We're going to face turn 4. We're going to face turn 4 because that is God's plan. It's part of the script. That was the page that God had handed them at that moment. In other words, this is ours to do. If he's in there to deliver us, great, yes. If not, that's okay too. Our God wrote what's next, and we trust him. Did you get that? That's what those 3 fellows were saying. If he's in there to deliver us, wonderful, amazing. But if not, you know what? That's okay too. Because God wrote what's next, and we trust him. When I script, some things happen that I might not even realize are happening. And again, yours may be different. I'm just letting you peek into what happened when I began to script. Number 1, I stopped trusting the author of my script. And I'll talk about this, Lord willing, more a little bit next week. I stopped trusting the author of my script. I no longer have confidence that what He has written for my life is good for me. Or else I wouldn't have to take my paper and my pencil and start writing myself. I stopped trusting the author of the script. I doubt His goodness. Oh, this is not going to turn out. This is not going to turn out like I think it's going to be, so let me write. Let me start writing my own how all of this is supposed to work out, how it's supposed to end. We don't trust the goodness of God. We don't trust His love, His great love for us. We doubt His presence. I doubt His presence. I doubt that He will have all that I need. I doubt Him. I doubt the author. I stop trusting the author of my script when I began scripting myself. Number 2, scripting takes my joy away. Scripting takes my joy away. It empties my present of its purpose and its meaning. It empties today what is right now, what is in front of me, my page of the script. It empties the joy that I have in that. It sucks away the purpose and the meaning. I found myself so consumed. Watch, I'm going to tell you just a little bit of story. I found myself so consumed with bracing myself for the impact of what had not happened yet that what was right in front of me got looked over. It's like it would truly be a great day. It would truly be a great day, full of sunshine and accomplishments, some fun, but there would be a shroud of fussy pessimism that dusted the day with a grumpy tone. Yeah. It could have been a great day, sunshine, some fun, some laughter, but when I began to script, and I began to think about and allow my mind and emotions to go and enshroud all the things that were to come, there was a fussy pessimism there. There was a grumpy tone to all of it. When I took it out and really looked at why, I figured out that living in those potentially hard tomorrows was sucking the fun and joy out of a really good day. It was sucking the fun out of a really good day. I'll put it like this. I gave the whole day away to what had not happened yet. I gave the whole day away to what had not happened yet. Scripting will take away your present joy because you're living in future pain. Number 3, and lastly, the product of scripting is often disappointment. The product of scripting is often disappointment. You know, sometimes, I'll just say this, it all goes according to plan. Sometimes it all works out how you wrote it, okay? The treatment did not work. The drama was there. I was a messy mess. They did not show up, and I told you that they wouldn't. They did not show up. The medicine, it was too expensive. I did have to move. He did pass away. See, it all happened just like I planned it. Just like I planned it. And now what? Now what? Do you want a cookie for being right? Is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted? Wait. That's what I told myself. That's what I told myself. After I got through the crash at turn 4, I spent all of that time scripting and writing emotionally and mentally, laying it all out. And some of what I had scripted was right on the money. And I asked myself the question when it was all over, do you want a cookie? What did that accomplish? What did that accomplish? Yay, it went the way you planned. Do you want a cookie for that? Many things that I wrote down and lived in happened just like I had written them. And I look back and I was filled with disappointment. Disappointment. There was no benefit to being right. I'm just saying. I'm just letting you peek into the mistake that I made. There was no benefit to being right. There was no benefit to taking the pen. I can't read the rest of it, so let me write my own. there was no benefit to it. Whether the things happened at turn 4 that I thought would happen and boom, they were right on the money, or it was, oh my word, this is not what I had planned. Either way, I was disappointed. There was no benefit to being right. And this is why. There's no glory in writing my own script. There's no glory in that. Watch. Christ does not get the glory when I write my own script. It was a pointless attempt to play God. Do you want a cookie for playing God? Yeah. You see what it did for Adam and Eve, right? Of all the trees of the garden they must freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou mayest not eat. For in the day that thou eatest thou wilt surely die. Do you want a cookie for being disobedient and trying to play God? No. No. It's really kind of pointless to play God. I had to learn that the hard way. It was a waste of time and energy and life and fun and opportunities, and I'll just go ahead and throw it out there for all of us to hear and to chew on. Scripting affected my physical health, my mental health, and my emotional health. Scripting affected all of that, I'm just saying. And it affected it for a very, very long time. And that's why I must warn you against it. I must warn us against it. I constantly have to be telling myself, that's not mine to do. Or it's not time to cross that bridge yet. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know about tomorrow. But I'm not going to waste today. This page of the script, I'm not going to waste today trying to figure everything out in my tomorrows. Several dangers of scripting. Number one, you will stop trusting the author of your script and start trusting yourself. That's very dangerous, my peeps. We're going to talk a little bit about it next week, a little bit more about this next week. That's very dangerous. When I stop trusting the author of the script and I begin trusting me and myself. Number two, the dangers of scripting. You will allow what could possibly happen in turn 4 to steal your joy in turn 2. Let's not let it do that. Don't give it the day. Don't hand the day away in worry and in fear and in dread. And don't hand the day. Don't give the day away. Number 3, you're setting yourself up to be disappointed. Not disappointed in God. We'll talk a little bit about that next week, Lord willing. Not disappointed in God. He does exceedingly far and far above what we could ever ask or think. But I'm saying disappointed in, oh man, I did all this work and it didn't turn out like I scripted it to be. Or it did. Everything came out just like I said. And again, I say to myself, here's your cookie. What did that do? What did that prove? Other than hurt you. You're setting yourself up to be disappointed. Disappointed if you're right and disappointed if you're wrong and it didn't play out like you thought. Look, my sweet peeps, the tough times will come knocking on your door. They will come to your house. You will enter turn 4 at some point. That fiery furnace will be turned up 7 times hotter at some point in your journey. You know what? Decide today. You want some homework for today? Decide today, I will not give this day away to fear and worry and despair and doubts. I'm not going to give the whole day away. I'm not going to give the day away to my fear and my worry. I know God will deliver me from that crash in turn 4, but if not, my God wrote what's next in my script. I'm just going to trust Him. I'm just going to trust Him. Next week, Lord willing, let's discuss what we can do to overcome the temptation to script. There are some things that you can do. There's some things that I did after I got through turn 4 and looked back and said, whoa, well, I guess let me eat my cookie. that was pointless. That was pointless to script all that. There are some things I could have done, and there are some things that I've done since then to keep me out of those spaces. And we'll talk about them again. We'll talk about this. Lord willing, we'll talk about it next week. Don't forget, Lydia at 11 with leukemia. Now go be amazing today.